Hi everyone, my name is Sabrina Thorne and I am a senior in the School of Public Health with a minor in professional sales. Today I will be presenting on my final donation report and reflection from our Scout Sales Fundraiser project in the Marketing 321 course. This is my donation summary of the past semester doing the Scout fundraiser project. I was able to complete my quota and raise $510. I had 17 donors. Just to disclose, the reason why it says 18 is because I actually had one of my prospects donate twice. So the top is going to be my prospecting list that I utilize in Google Sheets for my project. And then to the right, I have a little breakdown of what each prospect donated for my project. And to the bottom, I have my specific donors along with their donation amounts. So for activity and effort, out of the 17 prospect donations that I had, 8 of them I contacted via cold call only, so I didn't send them introduction email. I just called them. So that is going to make up 47% of my donors. 7, I sent an introductory email and then I cold called them, making it 41% of my donations. And 2 of my donors were only sent introduction emails or a private message, and they still wanted to donate. So that would make up 11% of my donations with a total of 510 raised. So, for my experience, I think 4 things that worked through my project. The first one was sending an introduction email before I cold called. I feel like this allowed my prospects to have a little bit of control on what time I was going to call and also more availability as far as um, calling at a certain time and making sure I wasn't taking up too much of their time or calling at a bad time. The second was utilizing my network and my connections that I had. When I was building my prospect list, I wanted to strategically plan out people that not only I thought would donate, but also respond and be receptive to when I was reaching out. The third one was emphasizing the cause. So in this case, the cause for this project would be raising money for the Scout Sales fundraiser for the Laurel Highlands Council. I think that with this project, everyone in my class that did the project had a little bit of an edge as far as reaching out to our prospects and letting them know that this money and their donations doesn't directly benefit us, but it goes to a great cause. So I think centering that and making that the priority of reaching out was definitely something that benefited my donations. And then the fourth, I would say reflection and reevaluation. This would include going back and seeing how many responses I got, how I was reaching out to them, if they were happy to donate or didn't even answer, things like that. I know a little bit further into my project, I did had to add a few prospects and also prioritize sending an introduction email before cold calling. So, what did not work in adjustments? For me, I think some challenges and obstacles with this project was getting no response when I was reaching out. The first few months of class, we took a lot of time to create and intentionally structure our introduction emails. And also, we had a lot of practice with cold calling. Um, I think that that was probably the biggest obstacle from my perspective. I also had a few that if I emailed them and they said that they would donate or they were interested in donating, but did not receive their donation. Even when I sent a follow-up email, I don't know if they just forgot or changed their mind, but I think that only happened a few times, fortunately. Some adjustments, adding to my prospect list. I mentioned that in the slide before this one, and then sending introductory and follow-up emails. I think those were my main adjustments. I feel like overall, my cold calls went really well. Um, but I did wanted to add some prospects around March, like our midterm, just to be on the safe side. And then what would I do differently in future sales situations? I said practice cold calling a lot more. Even though I feel like they went well, I don't think I was as confident just because it was my first time actually um, having a sales journey and being able to raise money and reach out to people and strategically choose my prospects, I think I would probably practice cold calling a little bit more prior to starting the project. And then also utilizing Zoom calls. I didn't do any Zoom calls this time. It was more of just like a regular phone call. But I think that having that face-to-face conversation might have helped me a little bit more. I mean, I'm thankful that I did reach my quota, but I think that that's one thing that I would definitely change. And so, my professional growth reflection for mindset, I think this project has taught me that consistency is key and diligence is imperative to success in the sales industry. So, after I either had someone who wasn't interested in donating or they didn't respond to me at all, it was a little bit of a blow to my confidence. But because I had such a large prospect list, I know that I had time to ask more people and reach out and reach my quota at the end of the semester. What I learned about myself as a salesperson is that I know we had mentioned in class that I guess research studies show most introverts are actually better at selling. I feel like because I'm personally outgoing and extroverted, these traits made cold calling and reaching out a little bit less intimidating. I was still nervous. However, I feel like if I was a more quiet person, I would have been even more intimidated. And then sales industry preparation. I feel like doing this project gave me the opportunity to learn and execute the behind the scenes and legwork of a sales professional. Having the opportunity to do things like creating a prospect list, planning out and staying consistent with cold calls, and reevaluating my strategies and methods to ask for donations. Um, this was I think my last class to satisfy my professional sales minor. And so um, this was the first time in that coursework that I actually had to reach out to people that I didn't know. And fortunately, I did good at it. However, um, I definitely have a new perspective on what being a salesperson entails and the expectations and responsibilities of a salesperson. So I think that would be my main overall takeaway. And that was my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you.